Hey y'all, this is Chris with Rockin Farm. The wife and I, we try just about every Saturday to head out and do like a little property walk to reassess, see where we're at, see what we've accomplished during the week. So we're out doing our evening chores. We're just gonna go pick up some chicken eggs and then go check the tomato plants and see if there's any tomatoes that need to be harvested or jalapenos that need to be harvested. And take a little walk of the property and see what we accomplished. So we thought we'd take y'all along with us. We're over here by the chicken coop and getting ready to pick up some eggs and give the chickens a little treat. This is where we'll start our little journey here. And the first thing I'll show you is that we put a new window in the barn. Hercules, shush. Yes, Hercules is still with us. I just don't have time, y'all. You know, I mean, I don't just want him to go to waste. So, but yeah, we put a new window in the barn, and the window, this goes to a little room that I'm going to turn into my workshop. There's Mrs. Rockin. Don't tell her I showed you. All right, so while she's in there picking up some eggs, we can kind of come in here. It's going to get a little dark for a second, and then I will turn on some lights. There we go. So the barn's a mess. It's been kind of a storage area, but this is what we're working on. We're working on getting this cleaned up. So here's the new window. And we had to rip out the floor a long time ago. And today I finished ripping out the floor over here. I've got some things I need to patch up. Obviously, you shouldn't be able to see light in here. And then I'm going to dig a bunch of the soil out and string some new 2x6s across here, put a hard floor in it, and then I can move my workbench into that room with my saws and have a nice place to be able to work. So we want to get this barn cleaned up because it's not a bad barn. You know, it's an old pole-style barn. We've got some really nice areas for animals. It's got back doors back there, so I can have back doors to the pasture and then front doors to get out to where we can go see stuff. So got a lot of repairs. I mean, look at that door. But we're getting there. You know, I mean, so we could have animals can come in there to get out of the storm. Animals could come in here to get out of the storm. This one could be a corral as well. So I'll probably leave it open as like a birthing pen. And then we'll use this big area, once I get all my tools out of it, for feed storage and hay storage and all that good stuff. So the girls are very social. They like us a lot, but I think what they like more than us is their treats. And we have a couple of birds that love to lay eggs out there in the yard. You see a little brown dot right in the center. Got two birds that like to lay their eggs out here. And when I'm trying to get my gate open, they all like to sit right here. So the reason that I bring them some treats is so that they'll get away from the gate for a little bit. So the wife just told me that the girls were busy today. What do we got?
We've got 21.
21. Not a bad day's haul considering we have 25 hens. So what's next? Tomatoes?
Tomatoes.
Yeah, the aloes are looking good. Out at the garden now, taking a look at all of the aloes. Jessica was just pointing out to me that this area is looking really good right here. You see how flat this is? We don't mow. We try really hard not to mow too much because we're trying to build up soil fertility. So this is all just matted down grasses, and we do that through walking through the area a lot. We use sheets of plywood to mash stuff down. I'll throw animal feed out here and let the guineas stomp around in here for a little bit while they're picking up all the feed. And then they're also obviously depositing nutrients while they do that too. So yeah, just pointed out that this is looking really good. You can see how tall the grass is out there. It would be that tall here too. We've just been flattening it out. So the aloes are looking really good. We just keep splitting them. We're probably going to take some of these to the market here soon. And these are some prickly pear. They're spineless prickly pear, but they are supposedly edible. We really like nopales. Is one of the meals that we like to eat. So, and I had a comment a while back about our jalapeno trees. they're good looking bushes. I need something that's about 4 feet tall to stand by them. Hey babe, you want to stand by the? No. So yeah, jalapenos are doing really good. Big, thick, healthy stalks. And one of the nice things about having a small garden is that you can nurse it through the hot weather so that when fall comes around and things cool off, you end up with all of this abundance and all of these brand new blooms that are still trying to come out. Basil's doing good. got this mint in the ground because it was getting root bound. So if it just takes over this whole corner, I don't care. Same thing with this oregano. Oregano likes to creep. It can creep across this entire area if it wants to. It doesn't bother me. I had to put the sage in the ground too. Again, everything was just getting root bound. So, oh, guineas are coming to see us. They like to hang out with us when we're in the garden. Say hi, guineas. All right, so do we have tomatoes?
Just a few.
Got a couple? One little one?
Well, we had one.
Let's see what we got. We had one. Mama Rockin ate it.
They're not quite ready.
So it looks like we've got a bunch that are definitely blushing. They're just not quite ready, which is fine.
Oh, there's one here.
Oh. Yeah, that one's ready to eat.
I might just...
All right, so now we will walk around a little bit and take a look at some work we got done. All right, so now we're going to take our little walk here, see what's gotten done this week. And I'll tell you one thing that got done is Jessica went ham on cutting things out to get ready to sew. Her and I are taking a little trip. I have a conference I have to go to, and she's going to spend some time with me. And while she's alone during the day, she'll get a lot of sewing done. So it's good for her. She loves to sew. She loves to sew when she doesn't have the pressure of having to sew. So this is some of the stuff I got done with the kids. Most of this actually happened today. That big tree that was underneath that power line that the power company came out and took care of for me. Now we've got a burn pile there, a burn pile there, and a burn pile there. I'm actually still kind of hoping that maybe I can get my hands on a wood chipper and they're not going to be burn piles, they're going to be wood chip piles. But you can see the size of this tree in some of these stumps. And it's not 100% level, but it's pretty close. I can get it the rest of the way level. And then remember I told you all I'm going to put a tabletop on top of this. So it'll be like a bar height tabletop. We'll just put some framing around it and get some lag bolts in there. We did end up getting a few really good sitting stumps out of it. And then we jumped on these as well. These are the other two trees that had the oak wilt. And I told you all that with these, I'm going to cut them off at probably right around 6.5 feet. And then I'm going to string a 2x6 across the top of them, notch it in, get it all leveled out. And then we're going to hang a nice little porch swing out on here. And during the spring, that will be our view of our property. And during the spring, our property is covered in wildflowers, huh, babe? So we still got a lot more cleanup to do, but we've got the entire winter to do it. This right here, that's Luna. This right here is about half the wood, a little more than half the wood that came out of these three trees. So just the branches off of that one, the branches off of that one, and then that whole tree there. We sent a 6 foot pickup bed load home with a friend of ours, and then this is the rest of it. So we've got lots of nice oak firewood. We don't burn wood inside the house. We have a potbelly stove, but it's in our bedroom, and basically it would make our bedroom scorching hot and nothing else in the house would be warm. So we don't really burn a whole lot of wood indoors, but we do love to have campfires with the family and do s'mores and that kind of stuff. So that was the big projects for this week, was a lot of cleanup work. So while we're standing out here where it's pretty and we can kind of enjoy our property a little bit, I'm going to I'm actually facing the camera towards me, so you want to stay in front of me this time. Miss Camera Shy is trying really hard to stay off the camera, so as I swung around in this direction, she's trying to get behind me, but y'all are looking at my ugly mug. So while we're out here and we're just enjoying the property, it just seems like a good time to one of the things I always told you all about when I first started was that I was going to try to be transparent, and that I didn't know if I had a lot to teach you, but that hopefully I could teach you all what not to do. And as funny as that sounds, you know, I mean, we learn through our mistakes, and sometimes our mistakes create a lot of heartache. And that was the case on our farm this week. It was actually just this morning that I posted the video about how excited I was with all the guineas and how good they were getting along. And I'll tell you what, y'all, the 7 guineas that we had took the 9 new guineas in, and wholeheartedly, yes, we're all family and this is going to be a lot of fun. But what I didn't think about was that I didn't allow enough time for our livestock guardian dog to accept the new guineas as part of her pack. So when the new guineas were released and they were walking around the property, she wasn't real sure that they should belong here, and she would approach them, and because they weren't used to her, they would take off. And when they would take off, she would give chase, because that's what dogs do. And we ended up losing, for sure, 5 out of the 9 new guineas. And I could not figure it out. I just could not figure it out, because she does not bother the 7 guinea hens at all. She does not bother the chickens at all. She doesn't bother the cats at all. I mean, very gentle dog, loves everything on this property and takes care of everything. So why is she killing all these new guineas? And, you know, my wife, the smart one in the relationship, she actually, yesterday morning, when I told her I was going to come home, open up the cage, let all the guineas out for the day and go to work, and everything was going to be peachy, and she said, I don't know how I feel about that with us not being here. And within an hour or two, I get a call from my son that he found 3 dead guineas. And by the time I got home, there was a 4th. And this morning we found the body of a 5th. And so what I'm doing right now is I've got the 3 guineas that we have. The 4th one is unaccounted for. I'm assuming that guinea is dead. We've got the 3 guineas back in the kennel, and I'm going to leave them there for a couple of weeks. The other guineas are still roosting on top of the kennel at night. They're still spending all day together. You know, they're still sharing food. They're still socializing. But I'm going to leave those new guineas in that kennel for a couple of weeks until Sacha, our half Pyrenees, half Anatolian Shepherd, understands that those guineas belong here, just like she did with the first set of guineas. I'm really upset. I'm heartbroken, to be honest with you. But I know it's not her fault. She's a dog, and she was doing what dogs do, and she does an amazing job of guarding this property and protecting these guineas. Because you know they would sleep out here in this grass, and she would sleep out here with them all night long. So I know she has the protective instinct. She just didn't accept the new guineas as part of her pack, and I didn't allow her the time to do that, against my wife's better judgment. So shame on me. Men out there, do a better job of listening to your wives. They know what they're talking about. And now we're down to 10 guineas. You know, we went from 16 to 10, but I do still have at least 3 females out of the 10. And what we'll probably do if we decide to get more guineas is we'll raise them up from chicks like we did the first set. But I always like to be transparent, and I like to be honest. And this week I had an epic failure as a farmer. We had a bit of a tragedy on Rockin Farm, and it was wholeheartedly my fault. And it's a mistake that I've learned from and that I'm not going to repeat. So I think that's about it. This has been a relatively long video. Thank you for joining us on our farm walk. And until I see everybody again, I'm going to ask you to please be happy and live healthy.